Welcome back. Littlewoods Cup final 1990s between Nottingham Forest and Oldham Athletic. Let's talk football. Let's talk about who's going to win the cup. First question, John Sillett. Who's going to win the cup?
Notts Forest. I've got to go for them. They've beaten us in the semi-final. They are experienced. They've been here 3 times, and I'm sure that's going to make the big difference on the day.
The Oldham supporters are really making this a day out. Do you think that these young lads who've never been to Wembley before could be lifted by this great occasion?
Well, it might go the other way, and they might come out there and be overwhelmed by it, and we'll just have to wait and see when they kick off what it's going to be all about. But you know, we mentioned yesterday about the boys that were down for the League Cup final, the Rugby League Cup final, and I noticed with the crowds going through London, they had all the different jerseys on of all the different teams in the league. There were genuine supporters coming down to support them, and I'm just wondering when we'll ever get in football fans from other clubs turning up to a cup final wearing their own kit.
And making a football day out as opposed
day out, that's right.
The day out for 2 clubs.
We've only got the supporters from both teams here. You couldn't imagine, for instance, Manchester United or a Newcastle fan or Liverpool fan or Everton were coming down among this people with their jersey on.
Very similar, John, to you in 1987. Coventry had never been there before, and your supporters treated it like a great family day out. They were just going to enjoy it come what may, weren't they?
Yeah, that's the way we sold it, though, Andy. You know, I tried to relax everybody, including the fans. I said it's going to be a day you never want to forget. Let's make sure you go down and enjoy your day. Forget the result. The players will go out and do the best they can, and hopefully they won't freeze on the day. That's what you're banking on. That's what Joe Royle's doing, and he's banking that his players don't freeze. And by making an early goal, we lasted 2 minutes. Brilliant, we were. Fantastic after all the work we've done.
Yeah.
I think you're a great admirer of Joe Royle's style, aren't you? A very courageous manager, not afraid to play 3 at the back, for example.
Well, the one thing about Joe is always looking to win games, and I think that's very important for the enjoyment of the spectator. And I think he'll come here today and he'll have a go at Forest. I feel that he may be playing into the hands, John, by doing that. But I think he'll have a go and he'll be wanting to win the game. And because they're a bubbly team, Oldham, you know, and they're an attacking team. And I think, you know, we'll see those qualities this afternoon.
Well, with the help of one of your scouts, Terry Payne, I know you've really done your homework prior to this Littlewoods Cup final. What are the key issues for you, John?
Well, I think the boy Milligan, for Oldham, I'm very impressed with him.
Mick Milligan, the captain, yeah.
He's a tremendous player. Got a lot of action. Very good forward runner. Built it up well. Plays it simple, and I think if they let him free today, Forest, they could have a problem. And on the other side, Hodgie. You've got to respect Hodgie. He's a good forward-going player. He creeps into the box, and I think he's the threat to score goals against them.
Well, I mean, I think it'll be a very entertaining football match because both teams can play good attacking football. But as I said about Forest, and you've got more experience of this than I have, John, but they like you to come at them, and I think if Oldham have this sort of surge at them, Forest will sit, and then they'll break. With Cloughie coming a little bit deeper, you know, he picks it up and then they go from there.
Yeah, they are superb at holding, sucking you in. And then, as Ian says, on the break, they're the best side in the country. And Clough will come short, want the ball to feet, and then Hodge will be looking to get in the holes behind him. You know,
he's not had a good season though, John, has he,
no.
Nigel Clough? Not compared to last.
I don't know, they're here at Wembley, aren't they? You know, they've not had a bad season. They've had a bad, since the semi-final, since they've beaten us, they've had a nightmare spell. But other than that, they've had a fair season up to them, I thought.
How do you think Cloughy will be doing his job today, John? You know, because, I mean, I've had his run of bad results.
Here they come
will
in.
he be able to lift them?
I'm sure he will. No doubt about that whatsoever.
What's that feeling like, John, when you lead your team out at Wembley?
That was the feeling I'll never forget the rest of my life. You feel so proud. You hear the roar as you come out of that tunnel, and it is a moment that the hair on the back of your neck stands up. I mean, well, it couldn't stand on top of me. You know, it really is the moment of pride for me, that moment when you walk onto that pitch there. Marvellous.
Forest in £350 suits, apparently. He's splashed out of it.
Very nice.
I don't think he paid for them.
He's looking very, very smart, very dapper today, isn't he? Nice to see him in a suit instead of that green jersey he normally wears. And Big Joey looking well. I'm delighted for Joe because he's such a popular young manager in the game, and I think everybody's delighted that he is here today.
Joe's like a bottle of wine, isn't he? He's maturing and he's full of body.
Good, nice way of putting that, John.
What about the heat? I mean, good wine can go off in the heat, John.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think Joe would do anything else but relax his players and say, go out and enjoy. Go out and let yourself go. Because they can, they have the ability. They proved that in the semi-finals.
Well, they've knocked so many big teams off the pitch this year, haven't they, in both cups?
Yeah, it's marvellous we didn't have to play them. They struggled with Sutton, Northampton, you know, God, what would Oldham have done to us?
Yes.
Well, very shortly now there will be the national anthem and then the presentations, and after that we'll be joining Jimmy Greaves and Brian Moore as the Judges of Kent. Great occasion for all these players, particularly the Oldham players who've never experienced anything like this before.
What amazed me, Elton, when we met the Duchess of Kent, I couldn't hear a word she was saying to me. I kept saying, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I hope I answered right, because I couldn't hear a word. Could you hear when they came and you were introduced?
So long ago, I forget.
Right, the national anthem is just about to start. We'll talk again at half-time. After the pre-match formalities, commentary will be by Jimmy Greaves and Brian Moore. Enjoy the match at home, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the guest of honour then, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Kent, in a beautiful outfit of green and white, studiously avoiding, obviously, the blue of Oldham and the red of Nottingham Forest. Meeting first, the second division marbles from Lancashire, Oldham Athletic, with their young captain, the number 10 there, Mike Milligan. Dennis Irwin, the young Irish fullback, being introduced, and Rick Holden, watch out for him down that left flank. A really classy winner. And a great day out then for Oldham Athletic, with a big job to do. Andy Ritchie, their top scorer, whose goals, really 10 of them in this competition, have brought them through to this glorious sunlit day. Roger Palmer, one of the substitutes, a prolific goal scorer in his own right, is Roger. And Joe Royal. Her Royal Highness with Bill Fox, the President of the Football League, David Dent, the League Secretary, and Desmond Pitcher, Group Chief Executive of the Littlewoods organisation, now meeting Stuart Pearce, the captain of Nottingham Forest, just as he was last season when Forest lifted the trophy. It's a wonderful atmosphere, and no wonder the players are cocking an ear, because it must be very difficult indeed to hear a single word. There's Steve Sutton, who's just been restored to the goalkeeping place, and young Nigel Jemson in his first season, Franz Carr, Des Walker, and the fullback Brian Laws. Steve Chettle. And Nigel Clough. Well, they so enjoyed themselves last season that they are determined to make the most of it this season as well. There's Steve Hodge. Coming towards one of the substitutes, Terry Wilson. And all the Forest players and the Forest fans just wondering if they can possibly recapture the scintillating form of the early part of this season, which has totally deserted them over the last 2 or 3 months. And Brian Clough. The Royal Highness remarking on the Nottingham Forest rosette. And the referee in the 2 linesmen, the referee John Martin from Hampshire. And as we've said so often before, it's a splendid occasion, but really the players, their nerves are around about the place now, but they will evaporate once they can get into the business they know best of all. A last word from the Nottingham Forest manager. And Nigel Clough's gone off the bench to the bench. I wonder if possibly Taylor's just having a drink. It's very, very hot out there. Let's check on the two teams. Starting with Nottingham Forest, Steve Sutton back in goal after missing 3 games. The number 2 is Brian Moore. 3, Stuart Pearce, the captain, who scored his first England goal here on Wednesday. 4 is Des Walker. 5, Steve Chettle. 6, Steve Hodge, Forest top scorer with 14. 7, Gary Crosby returning to the side, but likely to play down the left-hand side today. 8 is Gary Parker. 9, Nigel Clough, scorer of 2 goals in the final last year. 10 is Nigel Jemson. And 11, Franz Carr, a long loan to Sheffield Wednesday this season. This is his first Littlewoods Cup tie, incidentally. Forest really throwing down a bold attacking hand. 2 wingers, Carr and Crosby. They'll get forward as often as they can. Jemson, the central attacker, likely to find Nigel Clough maybe dropping back a little, and watch out once more for those explosive runs from the midfield of Steve Hodge. Now what about Oldham? Well, they've got Andy Rhodes in goal. Number 2 is Dennis Irwin, the Republic of Ireland B international. 3, Andy Barlow, the only Oldham-born player in their side. 4 is Nicky Henry, who recovered from a knee injury this morning. 5, Earl Barrett, stylish defender. 6 is Paul Warhurst. At 20, the youngest player in the field. Number 7 is Neil Adams. 8 is Andy Ritchie, as I say, the top scorer with 28, 10 of them in this competition. 9 is Frankie Bunn, remember his 6 goals against Scarborough in an earlier round. 10, Mike Milligan, the 23-year-old captain, and 11, Rick Holden, another classy winger. Ian Marshall, who doubles as a defender and attacker, failed a test on a thigh injury this morning. Neil Adams comes in, a right winger. Andy Ritchie and Frankie Bunn then will be the main strikers. A lively midfield where Nick Henry and Mike Milligan will have a big influence. You'll enjoy again the quality defensive play of Earl Barrett. Substitutes for Nottingham Forest, Terry Wilson and Tommy Gaynor. And for Oldham, Roger Palmer and Gary Williams. And the referee, John Martin of Oldham in Hampshire, possibly one of the oldest referees to officiate at Wembley. He's in his 50th year. It's his 4th extension on the Football League list, and he's delighted to say that that extension has been increased to cover next season as well. I believe is Andy Ritchie, and Forrest will be a little frightened of him and his goal scoring ability. He's gone a little bit off the boil in the last few games, but he's got a fantastic eye for goal. And Steve Sutton missed 3 games when young Mark Crossley came in and took his position. He's in his testimonial year. Maybe all that testimonial work had maybe just got in the way of his concentration, but he's vastly experienced and a good man to have at Wembley. Stuart Pearce, a good week for him. He scored his goal for England on Wednesday. He was 28 last Tuesday and looking forward to possibly picking up that cup again this season. The pitch, I must say, is in absolutely wonderful condition, considering the Rugby League final was played here yesterday. But really hot out there. Well, Brian Clough arrived in a beautiful dark suit, a 350-pound suit, I'm gathered, at the a local tailor bench, and he's back in his green jersey. And Forest are away in this 1990 Littlewoods Cup final. Red shirts, white shorts. They attack the goal to our left. Now Forest have won only 1 of their last 10. They've scored only 9. They've conceded 22. The incentive is there for Oldham, although they've been having troubles of their own. Beaten in the FA Cup semi-finals by Manchester United. Nothing much has gone wrong since. And struggling now to keep a hold on a playoff position, but here's Neil Adams. My goodness! There was a curl on that ball that very nearly fooled Sutton, and and we nearly had an astonishing opening to this Littlewoods Cup final. The first real cross by Oldham, and it came so close to producing a goal. Adams with the cross, a curl on it. Sutton had just gone fractionally off his line, and instead of that, it's a goal kick. Barrett winning it well. Parker, Pearce, Warhurst, the 20-year-old, Adams again, Ritchie. Oldham, nothing like a good, strong attacking start to subdue the nerves a little bit, but here's Jemson who can set something up now for Forest. There was a poor ball played out towards Crosby. Now the information we'd had was that Crosby would play away down on the left. In fact, he's playing away down on the right, and Franz Carr is over on the left-hand side. Parker, first touch betrayed him there. This is Laws. Certainly, Brian Laws, his manager, Brian Clough, was saying in the week, Oldham scare me to death, and certainly their fumbling form after looking so slick and so sure for much of this season. One win in the last 10. The sky really has fallen in on them since they beat Coventry in that two-legged semi-final. Chettle going for that with Walker. Clough beaten by Barrett. He's got a lovely stride, Barrett, when he comes forward to Holden. They'll need to get a hold onto him as well. In goes Walker. Crossed in now by Henry to Milligan. A promising start this for Oldham. Finding Adams in a lot of space. A cross in there coming off the head of Stuart Pearce. Good start, Jimmy Greaves, for Oldham.
Good start for Oldham, Brian. It's exactly as everybody's predicted. Oldham have gone solidly at Forest since the first whistle. Forest are allowing them to come on with the hope of the break. At the moment, they haven't really been able to get anything together. But Oldham has certainly started well.
Rick Oldham with the corner for them. Earl Barrett's in that 6-yard area. My goodness, Sutton just got there before Barrett.
It was noticeable during the introductions to the Duchess of Kent just how keyed up the Oldham team were. I mean, even in this weather, they were exercising, they were running on the spot, so they meant to go at it right from the referee's first whistle.
Carr to Hodge. That's a pass that hasn't come off. Barlow will... well, he wanted to let that go through for the goal kick, but in fact, Crosby got there. It's a throw to Oldham. Chettle. But a foul by Chettle, a free kick to Oldham. I think the prospects are terrific here today with 4 wingers. Crosby and Carr for Forest, and Holden and Adams for Oldham. Laws getting it back to Sutton. And really such a lot of good play in the midfield as well. A lot of positive play when you think of the likes of Steve Hodge. And also Oldham, for their part, with Henry and Milligan, really have 2 Hodges of their own. Warhurst struggling a little bit there. Irwin helping him out. Pearce getting it in, but a foul by the Forest captain, Stuart Pearce, as he jumped over Adams.
Well, no game would be the same without a Piercy foul in the first 5 minutes, would it? So we've had one, but I'd be very surprised if there's no goals here today, because it's just tailor-made 4 goals, and I'm sure we're going to get them.
Parker stopping that one. Jemson. Jemson again. Oh, good turn. Bought himself a bit of pace and a bit of space, and Parker gets a corner for Forest, their first of the game. Well, the signal for Steve Chettle to come forward. They've left Des Walker back. And they played it short to Hodge. Quick-witted, getting there just before anybody from Oldham had reacted. And they get another corner. Mike Milligan. Great little captain he's turning out to be, in a splendid season he's having. There's another corner coming in, a flick on by Hodge that time. And Carr pushed away well by Rhodes. Well, we can't complain about the brightness of this start. A great break by Oldham in the first minutes. A fine save by Andy Rhodes there as the ball comes to Franz Carr again. A deep across this time. Hodge is on the far side. Well, Hodge got a header to it. And we've had 2 good breaks now by Forest.
Yeah, good effort by Steve Hodge. He started very well. This was the first corner. A lovely flick on, and Franz Carr gets up, believe it or not, and produces a good save by the keeper.
Extraordinary thing is, 2 of the shortest men on the Forest side, it was Hodge who made the flick on, and Carr who got the header.
Well, Hodge has been very busy right from the off. He had a great game for England in the week, I thought, and he's continuing where he left off.
Here's Crosby. No nonsense there with Barlow's challenge, a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Tried to get Hodge in again. Oldham do love to get their fullbacks well forward, but I just figure that with Crosby and Carr facing them with so much pace there, they may feel that they shouldn't venture too much. There's the back pass from Laws to Steve Sutton. Yes. Carr. Yes. Forest throw that just clipped off Adams. Good play there by Adams. Ritchie up there with Walker. Parker. Nigel Jemson running straight at Barrett. Barlow. Yes, it's a real day for sunglasses here. Joe Royal on the bench. Both the managers, former England centre forwards, of course. Joe, who played 6 times for his country, and Brian Clough just twice. Here's Nigel Clough to Crosby. Laws. Open it far too long. Barlow loves to come forward, and here he is. But Parker did a good job just hustling there and making it just that little bit more difficult. There's Steve Chettle. Irwin gets it back. Walker. No, not a play.
It's a definite duel developed between Des Walker and Andy Ritchie, and at the moment Walker's getting the best of it.
There aren't many who get the better of Des Walker, Jimmy, as you well know.
That's true.
Got such fantastic pace. Wins that one in the air quite comfortably. There he is again. There's Pearce going in. Really where angels do fear to dread. And here's Carr. Now something could open up for Forest. They've got 4 forward. Jemson's made a break. Crosby in a bit of space. but held up just long enough for young Paul Warhurst to get across there and do a saving job for Oldham Athletic.
Not good football from Franz Carr there. He could have put Jemson through, but he held on to it too long.
Crosby, Laws, Ross coming in, Clough wanting to get there. Owen spotted that, Barlow away. Sure, a lot of neutrals sitting at home watching today will fancy Oldham very strongly. A season of such romance and excitement from them, and a great fear that maybe it'll finish with nothing for them. They were knocked out of the semi-finals of the FA Cup, of course, after those epic battles against Manchester United. They've been sliding away from the promotion playoff places at the top of the second division. And this might just be the last chance for a side that has given everybody so much to add a little bit of something to their season. Except, as Joe Royle says, they've secured financially the future of their club. And along the way also they've given people an awful lot of pleasure. Now there's a manager getting involved, but the wily one behind saying nothing. Ooh, that was close to going for the corner. Barrett just saving it. Barlow getting it away. Touch on by Ritchie. Stopped by Chettle. Here's Crosby. Crosby again. Barlow's throw for Oldham. Barker. Jemson. Crosby. Crosby would claim that there was an obstruction, but referee John Martin said no, there was a shove on the back of Barlow, and that's a free kick to Oldham.
Difficult one to figure out that.
Warhurst to Irwin. Oldham. Stopped by Chettle. Hodge threading it back to Steve Sutton. Hodge offside against Carr. They had a terrific run through to Wembley, did Oldham. They beat Leeds. I mean, that's no mean scalp to start with. Scarborough, Arsenal, of course. A terrific couple of battles with Southampton. And then West Ham in the semi-finals, scoring 26 goals while they were doing it, conceding only 6. Oldham with the throw, finding Ritchie. Chettle going down. Oldham again, he's a good crosser of the ball, and there's another one coming in too high for Pearce, but not for Adams, but it was wide.
Good chance this, actually.
Just too high
when you look at
Pearce.
it.
Yes.
It wasn't really too high. I think Eddie kept his eye on the ball.
No, I meant for Pearce. It just
yeah.
too high.
Too high for
Pearce.
Stuart Pearce, yeah.
Irwin to Ritchie. To Adams. It's a great disappointment to Oldham when Ian Marshall failed the test on a thigh injury today. He's doubled so well as a defender, and he's been so good in an attacking role. That long, powerful stride of his. Chettle away. Irwin.
Just past the quarter of an hour mark, still 0-0 in this Littlewoods Cup final of 1990. Up goes Walker. Good touch there from Frankie Bunn. He's really not figured at all in this opening quarter of an hour. Here he is. Chettle gets it back. Here's Parker. Clough waited too long, and Oldham weren't prepared to let him have the luxury of that. It's a great kick there by Sutton. These are the conditions, of course, that one or two players out there will be experiencing in Italy, the heat this summer. Des Walker's one of them, and Steve Hodge is another. Adams, a good cross in there towards Ritchie.
And it chucked and charged away as Nicky Henry got in there. It's the corner, but suddenly Oldham were in with a great chance there.
Actually, Oldham are doing better when they go route one for goal, which is bypassing the midfield and playing it up to Frankie Bunn and Andy Ritchie. They seem to be getting a lot from the little pickings that are going on around there.
Well, it'll be Adams with the corner again. Earl Barrett's in that Forest penalty area once more. The little flick on by Ritchie, that's what they were looking for. Barrett coming for it, but Walker got above them all. Milligan playing it in once more. That time Hodge was back there. And Parker in the end, or rather Jimson in the end, happy to get it away towards Carr. Barlow. But Oldham at the moment looking assured. As Irwin brings it forward again. Picks out Adams, who's still on that far side. An accurate ball in for Ritchie now. Good play this. And the shot by Ritchie! Flicked away well by Steve Sutton. Quality strike from a quality striker who's having a fantastic season.
Certainly sent him the wrong way. Great effort.
Here's Ritchie. Oldham flicking it in once more. Bunn on the far side, just a fraction too high. That was a terrific piece of striking and a good piece of play that led up to it, Jimmy.
Again, it was route one for goal, and there's Andy Ritchie. He'd sent the player the wrong way and put in a great shot that Steve Sutton put over the bar. It's the sort of effort that we know Andy Ritchie is very famous for.
He scored 10 goals in this competition this season so far. Here's Jimson. Hodge. Oh, a real battle there. Oh, my goodness.
Milligan unhappy with the way that Hodge challenged Adams, I think it was. Here's Pearce. Forrest going on, the ball charged down. And Adams is still injured on that challenge with Steve Hodge.
And Milligan went hurtling into Hodge afterwards. The Oldham lads were clearly unhappy with that challenge by Hodge.
Actually, I booked it as a reasonable 6 of one, half a dozen of the other job. I don't think there's much of a problem to the player that's injured. I think he's taking a nice little rest, a little drop of water there.
There's Hodge going in.
Into Adam, yeah.
It doesn't look too bad to me.
No. And then Milligan's going into Hodge. No, that's all right. There was a bit of rugby here yesterday anyway, so they should be used to it.
At every stop, every player gets the chance of a quick drink of something that's going to pep them up a little bit. Pearce with the throw towards Clough. Good flick on by him. Hodge looking to get onto it now. Boos from the Oldham fans. I think maybe the slow motion shows that maybe they aren't justified, but a free kick to Oldham there. And the referee going to have a word with Hodge, but I hope it's no more than a quiet word. It's Hodge has done nothing particularly untoward. Irwin, sorry Jim.
There's nothing happened in the game, Brian, is there? It's been a very fair game so far.
Hodge getting in. Parker to Walker. To Pearce. There's a bit of coolness there in the Forest defence. Hodge again. Oldham's first visit to Wembley, of course, for a major final in the 95 years of their history. And here's Warhurst, looking to make it a day of glory. Look at the space for Ritchie here. But quickly closed up by Chettle. He was in fact trying to play the ball into the path of Bunn and Warhurst, who'd continued the run. Pearce.
A little bit of lack of urgency there by Andy Ritchie, to be honest. I think he could have got that cross in, but he was a little bit casual about the whole affair.
Barrett. Ritchie again. Oh, lost! Might let Holden in. Here's away. Hodge. Oldham throw. Milligan. Irwin. Warhurst, the 20-year-old, up towards Ritchie. A foul by Walker on Ritchie, leaning in on the Oldham number 8. Now there's a free kick from an interesting position here. Adams behind it and Irwin behind it. Bunn, Ritchie, Holden and Earl Barrett. The 4 blue-shirted men in that penalty area. Adams will take it, floated towards the far side. Walker taking no chances there.
I think Oldham are fortunate to get a corner out of that, because it wasn't a particularly well taken free kick.
Adams again with this corner. Ritchie again poised for the flick on, but it won't come there. Holden! Charged away by Pearce. A good captain's job there, because Holden really caught it. Sutton was behind his captain, but whether he would have seen it in time is another matter. But it's another corner for Oldham. Holden to Henry, to Holden, getting to the byline. There's his cross again towards Bunn on the far side. Warhurst, and in the end it'll come to Nigel Clough. Played forward to Carr, trying to hold it up. Parker now trying to get Jensen away here, but Irwin doing well. And Oldham come forward again. Holden, Henry. Here's Irwin. I'm on the far side, too high for any of the flag was up in any case for an offside against Frankie Bunn, formerly with Luton and with Hull City. So 24 minutes gone, still 0-0.
Well, that shook us up a bit, because before the game we were all saying that in the first 20 minutes there's bound to be a goal or two.
Well, Oldham in fact have looked the likely to score. Barlow. This time there was a shot by Ritchie on Walker. Jensen. Forrest a little lucky that ricocheted to Parker. Crosby outside, no luck about that pass. But they get a corner. Came off Barlow. Tries to win this trophy 3 times. 78 against Liverpool, 79 against Southampton, then of course last season against Luton. If they win it today, they equal the record number of wins by Liverpool, 4. Crosby, crossed in there, Jackson, that was a free header.
Yes, he's looking mad at himself, and he's entitled to, really. It was a free header, Brian. The right height, and you would have expected him to have done. I know he would have expected himself to have done better.
Andy Rhodes, Yorkshireman, born in Doncaster, played with Barnsley and then his hometown Doncaster before he joined Oldham Athletic. Has had a great battle for this position with John Hallworth all season. In fact, Hallworth played in both the semi-finals against West Ham. John Martin unhappy with the pressure of the ball, yes. So let's try this one. Barrett to Warhurst. Barlow miscontrolled that one. Crosby. Barlow's back. Supported by Barrett. Delightful piece of play there by Barrett, but Barlow nearly messed it up again, actually, and he's given the throw to Forrest, which Gary Parker's going to take. Or rather, it's, yes, Gary Parker taking it to Jensen. Laws now to Pearce. Hit in towards Parker. Good shot! Oh, terrific bit of goalkeeping. What a splendid shot by Parker. When he let that one go, he must have felt that this is the goal, but Andy Rhodes was there. The cross coming in, it's charged away by Barlow. A great strike, actually, by Gary Parker, Jim.
Great turn, great strike, great save. In that order.
It's a good long throw, except it's a bad long throw.
Well, you can see it's played in by Stuart Pearce. Turns well, hits it brilliantly, saves superbly. What more can you ask for on a sunny day like this?
It's Barrett again for Oldham. Could be right in saying that Forest have only had 2 goalless draws this season and Oldham only 1. I think as you can be as sure as anything you can be sure of in this game, there will eventually be a goal or 2 here today.
Wish you hadn't have said that, Brian.
Now can Clough get to this? Nope. There's Barrett. Both goalkeepers can look back on the opening half hour, along with this crowd enjoying the sunshine, to some very good work between the posts. Steve Sutton, who's got a nasty sty incidentally over his left eye. Parker caught, rather not Parker, Crosby caught just fractionally offside. But one of the key factors for Forest really over their rather depressing spell has been that Nigel Clough's form has deserted him. Those little surprise touches of his that opened up so many defences for so long just aren't there at the moment. Another free kick to Forest. And his goal-scoring touch as well. He surpassed the 20 mark last season. He's only scored 11 this season, 4 of them from the penalty spot. And Indeed, he was man of the match in this match last season. Owen.
Yeah, all credit to Oldham, but this is not the Forest we are used to seeing at the moment. They're not really stringing much together. Oldham certainly are the better team. They're going with much more purpose. And even if it's not coming off for them, I think they know what they're trying to do, which is the important thing.
Oldham. No foul there. Here's Warhurst leading the charge again, having beaten away from Clough. Ritchie, no. Well read by Pearce. A foul on the Forest captain by Andy Ritchie. A free kick to Nottingham. Ritchie, in fact, looking for a couple of goals here today, which would equal the individual record in this competition. Ritchie's got 10, as I've told you, a record that's held by Clive Allen, who scored 12 in the, I think it was the 86-87 season for Tottenham.
It's a bit unfortunate that that it was a foul on Stuart Pearce. You feel somewhere down the line there's a miscarriage of justice when that happens.
Manager with barking out the orders there. Just caught the sight of Willie Donachie, the former Manchester City and Scotland fullback, who's in Joe Royal's coaching staff at Oldham. Parker to Clough. That's the sort of Clough pass that was coming off almost without looking last season. They're just not hitting the right men this time. Here's Henry. Ritchie. On after this one, but Cheppel with him. And a foul by Cheppel on Frankie Bunn. A free kick to Oldham.
Oh, Frank was a bit lucky to get away with that. He's looking a bit heavy-legged at the moment. I don't know whether the nerves have got to him, but he seems to be struggling a little bit out there. I think he was a bit lucky to get a foul given for him.
Well, the foul it was. Neil Adams with the free kick. But Oldham hit it deep again. Rick Holden on the far side. And they get a corner. It came off Des Walker. And with 12 minutes of the first half remaining, it's still 0-0. Oldham continue to look the likelier side. Driven in that cross that time. Parker got it away. Holden again, curling it straight to Steve Sutton. Parker. Walker. There's so little coming through Forest's midfield and attack. They'd be in all sorts of trouble without the sure touch of Des Walker, Steve Cheppel, Stuart Pearce, Brian Laws and the goalkeeper, Steve Sutton. The pace has slackened a little bit now, Jimmy, which is not surprising in this incredible heat here.
No, it's got to be very warm out there, there's no question about that. And the defences are on top, by and large, apart from the odd break.
Here's Ritchie, robbed by Gary Parker.
That's the sort of thing that's happening. Everybody's tackling back onto the forwards. The game really desperately needs a goal. I'm sure we'll get one.
Barrett. Crosby trying to get in. Holden. Barlow. Now Milligan. Swept wide. Space here now for Irwin to exploit. And Ritchie caught offside. Jemson. Clough, now that's a better ball. That's the first break from the midfield we've really seen from Hodge. But Andy Rhodes read that well again for Oldham Athletic.
Actually, Hodge has made one or two good breaks from the middle of the field, but the ball hasn't really got to him, and it's as you said, Brian, people like Nigel Clough, where last year the ball was finding everybody, it's just not going for them at this particular stage.
Well, Stuart Pearce with the throw, short to Gary Parker. Pearce must be trying to get on the end of it. It's a throw. Almost home ground this for Stuart Pearce, the Nottingham Forest captain. Playing here now regularly for England, of course. And his first club was Wealdstone, which is really just a Stuart Pearce free kick from Wembley. Here's Jemson. Henry, Milligan, Barrett rattling away there. And Forest had just been given no time whatsoever. Here's Parker though. Bit of space. Clough coming in. He's got Carr away on the left. Into Clough. Oh, it just needed a touch. And Clough was there before any defender. Seven and a half minutes to go to half time. Barrett. Henry. Crosby winning it, getting it up to Jemson. Andy Barlow. It's a Forest throw.
Yeah, the game's definitely gone dead in the last 5 minutes. We need something desperate, lads. Come on. I know it's hot out there, but...
Well, let's see whether Paul Warhouse can. He's made some good breaks there from deep defence. Clough trying to turn away from Henry, gets a free kick. Wants to take it quickly. Milligan won't let him. Gave Milligan a piece of his mind. The referee carrying on that dialogue. And Forest with Parker, with Clough again. That's a better ball there. Aim towards Hodge. Barrett's in there though. Hodge hasn't given up yet. But now it's with... Didn't give up either then when he charged into Andy Rhodes, the goalkeeper. Paul Warhurst lost his concentration a moment there. Clough now threading the ball through to Jemson, but Jemson can't find Crosby. Barlow gets it away to Ritchie. Flag up for an offside against Barlow. The referee hadn't spotted, or if he had, he's decided the game should go on. It's Walker down injured. And on comes Liam O'Kane.
Yeah, it was offside, and it was a good decision by the referee. It was unfortunate that Des Walker actually went down with a slight injury.
Never seems to get himself injured, but with the World Cup now so close, the last thing I'm sure that Bobby Robson wants is to see a key man like Des Walker go down. But it doesn't look as though it's too bad.
Bobby Robson's got enough problems at the moment on who to pick, let alone who not to pick.
Well, the Forest players and one or two of the Oldham players on the touchline getting a quick restoring drink while the play is held up. And a nice bit of sportsmanship there by Oldham, because the ball was kicked into touch by Forest so that the player could get some treatment. Oldham then presented it back to Forest, and it's their throw now. Milligan to Adams. is there. Chettle was there too. Henry's there too. And Chettle, a last gasp. Bit of defending there. Clough now to Parker. Oh, cut out by Milligan. Forrest could be in trouble here. Milligan now spreading the ball wide for Andy Ritchie. The cross coming in by him and put behind by Steve Chettle for the corner.
Actually, it's interesting. We go on about Des Walker and Stuart Pearce and Brian Laws, but Steve Chettle has always played well when I've seen Forrest play.
Milligan playing it wide for Adams. And still it's Oldham that look the first division setup, and it's Oldham who are making the better chances, Jimmy.
Yes, and unfortunately they're not taking advantage of them. Adams might have had a couple. I mean, even then he might well have steadied himself that little bit more. I mean, it was a good clear shot at goal.
Jemson to Clough. That's a better ball again for Carr. Clough's form beginning to return. Franz Carr. Stuart Pearce wanted the throw, but he wasn't given it. Clough! Flicked the foot out there from Gary Parker's flick on. Goal kick to Oldham.
It was a good move, this, because it caught Oldham totally flat-footed, and Nigel Clough, had he got his foot round a little bit more, would have made it very difficult. Good bit of quick thinking.
Chettle winning it in the air. Clough shouldered unfairly off the ball, or charged unfairly off the ball by Warhurst. Oldham so quick to get everybody back behind the ball. Packing that midfield and defence now as Pearce lines up. And a back four that is pushed well forward as well, looking to catch Forrest offside, and they succeed in doing so. Chettle versus Bunn. Bunn won that one, but Laws hits it forward again for Carr. Will it bounce kindly for Franz Carr? It might yet. Just wide! In fact, it deflected off a defender for a corner to Forrest. 2 or 3 times in that little move of Franz Carr, you thought, surely this is the moment. Surely this must be it. Then just that little deflection took it wide. Carr again for Forrest. For Clough. Played for Pearce. Driven straight at Bunn for another Forrest throw.
Certainly the best bit of individual play that we've seen this half.
The last minute of the first half now. Clough back to Pearce. To Parker. Pearce has carried on. The flag stays down.
Easy to be critical of Franz Carr, but Jemson had made a great run, and had Carr looked up, it might have been a little bit easier for him to have played the ball off, but nevertheless it was a great effort.
One thing's for sure, we might be disappointed without the goals, but we've got a really good, well-balanced cup final here, Jimmy.
It's well-balanced, Brian, and in actual fact I think the honours by and large go to Oldham in the first half.
Well, here's Milligan. Stopped by Hodge, no foul. Milligan doesn't agree.
Hodge is certainly winding up the Oldham crowd, there's no doubt about that.
Pearce, been to time, added on at the end of the first half. Walker slow to react to that ball from Parker. Ritchie. And someone injured there, I think it's Frank Bunn. As Ian Liversidge comes on to sort him out. Yes, it's Frankie Bunn. Joe Royal, I would have thought, I mean, obviously would have preferred to have had a goal, but can't be too displeased with the way that his side has settled down in this cup final at Wembley. First time that Oldham have been here, remember. And Archie Gemmell there. And Brian Clough. Archie, who ran in the London Marathon, did 4.5 hours. And took most of the week to recover, he was telling me.
Couldn't imagine that running in a marathon, could you?
Not on a day like this, Jim. But there's the half-time whistle. Honours even at the end of 45 minutes of this Littlewoods Cup final 1990. Oldham have had slightly the better chances, but there's an awful lot more to play for. We'll get the views also of John Sillett and Ian St John with Elton after the break.
Oldham Athletic 0, 45 minutes to go, unless there's extra time. Let's rejoin Jimmy Greaves and Brian Moore.
Thanks, Elton. And Oldham will get the second half underway. 0-0 the score. Paul Warhurst on the ball now. Up to Ritchie. Adams playing it in towards Walker, who wins it in the air, but not really convincingly enough on that occasion for Forest. And has conceded the free kick in trying to get the ball back. The foul on Mike Milligan. Well, let's see what Oldham can do from this direct free kick. Dennis Irwin is the man behind it. He scored only once this season. Deflected off a defender, I fancy. Yes, a corner. So Oldham starting the second half just as they started the first, with that good promising break. And Rick Holden will take the corner. A deep one towards Barrett. Up goes Walker, wins that one quite comfortably in the air. Clough with the overhead. Barlow to Irwin. See once more, and once again Forrest get it away, this time through Steve Chettle. Here's Crosby. Again goes Crosby. Once more it's Oldham with Barrett. Ritchie. Oh, miskick by Laws.
Yes, Oldham have started where they left off, really. I would think watching the band at half-time inspired them, because they played well in the heat, that's for sure.
It's Nicky Henry with a long cross towards the number 7 there, Neil Adams. Another Oldham throw. Warhurst. Forest can't get into their own half at the moment. Well, they've got a goal kick now as Frankie Bunn's shot goes way, way over the top.
That was not a good striker's effort by Frank Bunn. It was a good knockdown by Andy Ritchie. Really, Frank Bunn leant back in rather an amateurish style. One has to say that for a man who has scored goals. And that was a pretty poor effort. But he seems to be troubled to me. He seems to be a little bit wary, does Frank?
Well, suddenly Clough's way up forward now, and Jimson with a chance for Forest. He's done it! Forest have snatched the lead. With Nigel Jimson, the manager, quite unmoved, the goalkeeper quite perplexed, and the fans absolutely overjoyed.
It's a great ball from Nigel Clough, Brian. And Jimson's through on his own. He doesn't really make good contact with it first time, but the second time he makes no mistake. And what's really incredible about it is that Oldham might have been one up themselves half a minute earlier, and there's Jimson putting Forest on the road.
Only his 5th of the season, and his first season. He only came into the Forest side on Boxing Day. What a finale this season could be for him now. Parker to Clough. That looked like a handball. By Warhurst it was. Well, there's a sharpness again about Nigel Clough. We were a bit tough on him maybe in the first half, but there was a delightful ball that he put through to Jimson, and there was a sharpness about him just a moment ago. Here he is. Pearce. Jimson, the score. Carr. Owen chasing him, and in the end beating him. Now Pearce with a throw. Forest leading 1-0. Barrett with a header. Bunn. Might be another one. The goalkeeper handled that surely outside the box. Yes, he did. You can see that Rhodes is saying inside. I must say my view was that it was just outside. And the free kick's given. And Stuart Pearce is making his way towards it.
I agree with you, Brian. I've got to agree with you, Brian, yes.
Yeah, outside.
Oh, it was well outside, wasn't it?
Well, we remember what Stuart Pearce, and I'm sure one of our guests today, John Sinnott, will remember what Stuart Pearce did in the semi-final. From a little wider than this, and in fact a little further out. Now it's either Pearce or it'll be a curler by Nigel Clough, I would imagine, or Parker in there too. So 3 things for Oldham to consider now. Parker's over the ball. Referee Martin wanting the ball back 10 yards. No, it's going to be Pearce, I think. Well, that's hit Barrett on the head. Poor Earl Barrett was concussed on Tuesday night at Portsmouth when he got up to head the Oldham goal in a 2-1 defeat. My goodness, and when you stand in the way of a Stuart Pearce free kick, just look at this.
It's a brave effort.
Now there's a man with a potential headache tomorrow morning.
There's a man who is either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid, but I suspect incredibly brave.
He's a brave lad and he's a good player, and I mean it's incredible to think last Tuesday he had exactly that, but when he was heading the ball he was concussed, which made him a little bit doubtful early in the week for this final. And blow me, lightning does strike twice.
Well, if it had been me I'd have ducked, Brian, I know that.
Well, Earl Barrett didn't duck, and Forest have got a corner. Defending to be done here. Clough playing it to Carr. Played into Chettle. A bit of space for Steve Chettle, and it goes behind for the goal kick.
No, you're right. That was very brave football. That was.
And the back pass by Warhurst was firmly struck. Needed to be. Up goes Walker. Beats Ritchie in the air. Milligan. Here's Hodge. Forest flying at the moment. Nobody more so than Franz Carr. Into Jimson again. He tried to turn on the ball, and Barlow getting it back as Crosby came in, and Rhodes bravely standing his ground. Good start to the second half by Forest. Carr's cross in. Jimson was looking to turn his man. That was tough on the keeper, but he's just shaken off that challenge of Crosby. Walker away.
Actually, going back to that free kick, Brian, what's interesting is that people don't realise that being poleaxed by a football like that is just like being hit by an heavyweight boxer.
Especially when it's Stuart Pearce hitting that free kick. It's a Forest throw. And referee Martin unhappy with that throw, or at least the linesman was. It's now an Oldham throw. Dennis Irwin with it. Warhurst. Just in towards Holden. It was Laws who got it away for Forest. Jimson got back there. Parker. Into the path of Crosby. Barrett's coming across. Crosby thought for a moment he'd fooled him, but there's quality in that defending there. Brilliant play by Barrett for Oldham. Up to Bunn. Ritchie trying to get in. Comes to Oldham. Oldham fans getting behind their team now as Walker disturbs a couple of pigeons and gets it just in time to Steve Sutton. Jemson. Clough spreading it wide for Carr. Owen. Chettle. Referee tried to play an advantage there, and it just, in fact, as Adams gets past the challenge of Hodge, finds Frank Bunn. Chettle going in, Parker getting it away, up to Nigel Clough. There's a bit of bite about the game now as Carr chases on the far side, gets there before Owen. To Clough again. Crosby away on his right. Oh, he deliberated a little too long there, but Milliken just couldn't get the ball for all that. Here's Hodge. Play to Carr. Oh, that's got to be a free kick. Well, it looks to me as though Henry pulled Carr over, but the referee was a lot closer than I. There's Walker. Pierce. Leg stays down. Jemson getting in behind the defender. Parker's made a break. Clough available again, just pulling himself back. And the shot goes wide. Well, let's look at that Forest goal again from the other side of the field this time, and you can see what an exquisite pass it was by Nigel Clough. And a good second reaction there by Nigel Jemson. So the two Nigels combining, and Nigel Jemson, the man who puts Forest 1-0 ahead. Ritchie. Claims he got the ball, but that's not the point. There was a foul on Ritchie which enabled him to get it. So Oldham looking to repair the damage now. Barrett playing it into Ritchie, a flick on by him. And Sutton catching it well. 29 years old, a really good first division goalkeeper, Steve Sutton. Warhurst watching Jemson, two 20-year-olds. Jemson winning it in the air. Barlow being chased by Crosby. And in the end, dispossessed by Parker, a free kick to Forest. There's a bit of meat about the game now, Jimmy. They were all a bit polite in the first half, but
yes,
a few tackles going in.
You're right. They're getting stuck in a bit now, Brian. Actually, it's one or two players running with the ball and taking them to players, so there's a bit of physical contact coming into it.
Here's Crosby. To Laws. Parker. Good break by, no, not such a good one. By Hodge, just caught offside.
It was a great run. He was very unlucky, actually.
Laws. Henry. Barrett. Oldham. Well stopped by Laws. Henry. Oldham. Oldham striking back now. Good play there by Rick Holden. The ball they claimed was out of play, and the linesman agrees. Formerly with Watford, 74,000 here today. I saw Rick Holden play in the first game of the two they had at Southampton, when Southampton were leading by 2-1, I think it was, in the 93rd minute, and this man delivered the perfect cross for Andy Ritchie to score, which kept Oldham in the Littlewoods Cup, and the rest really is history. But to produce a quality cross in the way that he did under the pressure of a 93rd minute and you're a goal down, that was something. Here's Jemson, a good bit of play again by Nigel Clough. Well, that's good to see. Nothing wrong with that.
And that's what it's all about.
I really warm to this guy, Earl Barrett. He looks a real character, formerly with Manchester City. Ooh. Walker. And Bobby Robson's had his eye on him as well. Here's Barrett again. Played just 3 games for Manchester City, and I think they sold him for something like £35,000 to Oldham. Crosby.
I think that's what you would call a good buy, Brian.
It's a steal, isn't it? Crosby. Time Jemson got the better of Barrett's. Shoulders Barlow out of the way. Jemson trying to cut it. That was a good piece of goalkeeping too. He covered his angle well, did Andy Rhodes. Chettle. Forest leading by a goal to 0. The scorer Nigel Jemson. Clough now trying to get Carr away once more. There's no doubt that Forest are putting much more into this second half performance, and so far they've got the right reward.
Yeah, Cloughie, young Cloughie, I suppose old Cloughie as well has done it, has moved up a gear and is making a few things happen now.
Adams, yes, I thought not for the first time this season the paint was made to peel off the dressing room wall at half-time. Mr. Clough got going. It's Rick Holden. Towards Frankie Bunn. Well watched though by Pearce. Jemson. Well, it comes for Holden. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. It's a Forest throw. Just a little brief mention while Brian Clough, Joe Royal. For a young Forest fan who's having a bad time at the moment in Princess Alexandra Hospital in Harlow. And Gary Farmer, only 5, was in a really nasty car smash last week. And the doctors say if we can give him a mention, it might just help him along the way. Well, good luck to you, Gary, and your team are winning at the moment. But at the moment it's Paul Warhurst. Mike Milligan. Nigel Clough still getting his boot on. He took quite a nasty jarring challenge there as it happened. Frankie Bunn. Adams. Trying to get Owen in. The fullback's made a good run. Walker readjusted beautifully to get that one under control and away to Jemson. Carr. Parker. That's a good ball. No, it's not. The pass was perfect for Jemson, but it was played just a little too firmly by Gary Parker. But it's a good day for Forest, but a sad day for the followers of Colchester United, beaten 4-0 at Cambridge this afternoon. They go out of the league and join the Vauxhall Conference next season. Walker gets it away. Irwin with the throw. Another throw to Oldham. Coming up to 19 minutes of the second half. Jemson's goal at the start of the second half has given Forest that 1-goal lead. And Andy Ritchie, the cross towards Holden, beaten away by Laws. Milligan, Henry, up goes Walker. Ooh, hits it across the face of the goal. Holden trying to get Henry in again. But Laws concedes the corner.
A lot of pressure by Oldham now. I tend to think that Forest are allowing it to happen more than Oldham creating it. Dangerous situation to be playing with.
And another corner. Holden once more with it. Oh, my goodness. Sutton had to get quickly to that one. I was just going to say, I wonder when they're going to make one pay. And they very nearly did there. Variation on the old corner theme there, but Sutton was smart and alive to it, helped out by Chettle and Laws. Owen. It's calm. I wouldn't be surprised that Joe Royle would bring on Roger Palmer, a proven goal scorer, an experienced player. In this need for a goal. He's the club's record goal scorer, so that's something obviously that'd be exercising Joe Royle's mind at the moment.
To be honest, Brian, I would have possibly brought him on at half-time instead of Frankie Bunn, who does look to have been labouring.
Ritchie. And now Barlow. Laws thought about the back pass, played it short to Parker. Didn't really do him any great favours, but Parker gets it back.
In fact, going back to that theme, it's difficult to know why he didn't start with him. Because if you've got your leading goal scorer on the line...
This is the record goal scorer. I think it's over 120 goals he scored for Oldham. In the meantime, it's Crosby now, away for Nottingham Forest. Jimson waiting in the middle, Barrett coming across, Jimson's there! Warhurst got it back. Crosby's pace telling there for Nottingham Forest. And Chettles for Forest as he gets it back to Steve Sutton. Roger Palmer, 10 years at the club. And as a record goal scorer in the club's history. I think it's 17 he's got this season as well.
Well, he must be wondering what he's got to do to come on.
Well, they're making a substitution. Well, indeed, they're taking Frankie Bunn off, and Roger Palmer indeed is coming on.
I think it was inevitable. I just can't figure really why it took so long. No disrespect to dear old Frank, but he has had a pretty tough time of things out there.
Well, he scored valuable goals on the way to Wembley, but today just isn't his day, and now Roger Palmer's on. I just wonder, John Sillett, if you're hearing us now, what you feel about the way the game is going, very briefly.
Well, I think he's made the right move, Joe Royle, for me. We've been looking at it and saying, well, it's not Bunny's day, as Jimmy said, and I think it's time he made a change. I would have made it 15 minutes earlier myself. But having said that, we were a goal down within 2 minutes, and what I did, I'd tell Joe, if we can get a message to him, close your eyes, put your hand together and pray that everything goes right, because they can't hear a word you're saying from that touchline, you know. Either that or my side was deaf. But I think he's made the right move, he's tried to change things, and hopefully it'll come off for Joe.
At That's a good ball by Jemson. Crosby on his way, but just look at Barrett getting across there in overdrive once more. Barlow goes in, it's a foul, it's a free kick to Forest.
Actually, I was with John Sillett's side that day, and they said they weren't going to listen to him anyway, no matter what he said.
Brian Laws will take this free kick. Short to Parker, and now to Crosby. Parker, Clough, Hodge, Hodge again, Parker, Jemson, Warhurst to Adams. Foul by Clough. Free kick to Oldham. "20 minutes of the game left. Forest still leading by a goal to nil. Paul Warhurst with the free kick towards Andy Ritchie. Flicked on by him towards Palmer. Oh my goodness, how did that stay out? Palmer got a touch. Sutton's arms were flailing. I'm not sure whether he got a touch or not. And Adams, who was coming in at the far post, just failed to get what would have been the simplest of tap-ins. But they've got a corner. Must have come off Sutton. That time it's back again for Holden to cross it in once more. Lower this time. Pearce needed to get that one away. Adams with a header, and that time it's easy.
I think we'll find it was actually a great save by Steve Sutton. I think it's a very well taken free kick. Ball gets knocked in, and there you'll
Palmer's
watch
touch.
this Palmer's touch, and he does.
Just got a touch.
It's a great save.
Here's Barrett. Barlow hit long towards Palmer. Milligan. Parker. Oh, it bounced nicely for him actually. Clough whacking it away on that far side to test the pace again of Franz Carr. Now can he find a way past Dennis Irwin? Well, Milligan picks it away. Another Forest move comes to nothing. As the Oldham skipper just flicks it over the head of Crosby to find Andy Barlow. This is some run by the fullback. And it leaves Adams on the far side. The cross by him. Barlow's going in there looking for some more of the action. Oldham playing it in again. Walker getting it away. Here's Milligan. Ritchie. Adams again. That's a good cross in there towards Palmer, and Forrest just happy to bat that one away. It was Brian Laws who belted it away in the end. Back it comes again, up goes Pearce. Hodge right back there helping out. And Parker. Good spell of pressure this by Oldham, looking for the equalising goal. It's with Andy Barlow. Played again towards Ritchie, but that one's easy for Walker. Up goes Clough, wins it in the air. Jemson can't hold it. Barlow. Barlow. Nicky Henry being chased by Crosby. Still going across there. Walker, Forest saviour again.
It's a great bit of sustained pressure by Oldham there, but I don't think about 4 or 5 of the Forest players will be thanking Franz Carr, because they all moved forward about 40 yards to join him and have all been in trouble since getting back.
Well, they could be in trouble from this corner. Ricky Holden's going to take it. Another corner. Oldham's 13th corner. Forest have had 8, which just about reflects the territorial advantage that Oldham have had. Walker with the back header. Warhurst onto the right foot. He scored once this season, but suddenly there were gleams of glory in his eye. Onto the right foot and wide of the Forest goal. Goal kick. Interesting to see who the man of the match is going to be today. It's a new system, the Alan Hardacre Trophy, in memory, in fact, of the former Football League secretary Alan Hardacre, whose brainchild this was way back in 1960, when everybody was against the League Cup, but he stuck to his guns because he was that sort of man, and now it is a real part of the calendar. Here's Crosby, what a good break by him. Man of the match will be decided by the media corps and presented by Alan's widow, Renee Hardacre. And we hope to have the name of that man of the match before the end of the game. At the moment it's Forest 1-0. Jemson, the man who scored it with the back pass. And in fact there was a foul on him. It's a free kick to Forest. Quarter of an hour left. Forest, the holders, going to hang on and leave Oldham perhaps a season empty-handed after with so many promises of joy. Oh, there's Jemson running at Warhurst, but Warhurst comes away with it. Irwin. Milligan. Palmer to Milligan. Adams. Good time Parker got it away. It's with Barrett. Everybody except the Oldham goalkeeper now in the Forest half of the field. Rick Holden. Yes, a free kick, a foul by Laws. Laws claiming there was some elbowing by Holden. That won't stop the referee giving the free kick to the second division side.
It looks at the moment Forest tactics are going to be, well, let's sweat it out for the last 15.
And that's dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Here's Rick Holden. That should be Sutton's ball. It was for a moment. Irwin, there's a whistle gone for an infringement on the keeper.
Referee was a bit kind there, I felt, as they always are.
Yes, that's a bee in the Greaves bonnet, isn't it, that goalkeepers are overprotected.
Well, he wasn't even touched and he dropped the ball. The referee blows up. It's ridiculous. Sorry about that, Brian.
What I think you're going to find now, Jimmy, is that it's going to be a real problem for Oldham to put a new surge into tired legs in this last quarter of an hour on a very hot day after a long, long season when you're a goal down.
Well, I think you're right.
It's a real test of their quality. Well, it's going to be a test maybe of the Forest's ability to build a wall, because Oldham have got a free kick, a pretty central position.
I think you're right, and I think what's happening is again, equally, Forest obviously look as though they've sold out a little bit, and they're protecting the 1-0 lead, which, as you say, is extremely dangerous.
Well, Milligan and Ritchie behind this. And 2-4 in the Forest wall. Chettle, who perhaps will be there to attack the ball. And Sutton looking for a sight of it behind them. Andy Ritchie, wide of the goal. So a goal kick to Nottingham Forest. And the minutes are flying by for Oldham and Joe Royal. And for Cloughie in his 25th year of management. He's just about seen it all, but still gets nervous on these big occasions, you can be sure of that. Henry. Walker did well again. Parker looking for the pass forward to Crosby. Brian Laws to Nigel Clough. No, he's going to be offside. It's been a terrific atmosphere, Jimmy, in the stadium all day, and it's really sort of a throwback to the old days, I thought, walking around the crowds today. I mean, here intent on enjoying themselves, with a lot of smiles, a lot of good-humoured banter.
Exactly. It's been a very friendly atmosphere, and you're right, it's a throwback to the old days.
But here's Milligan.
But you and I, of course, don't remember that.
Walker away. And Forest just happy at the moment to clear their lines. They've got just Nigel Jemson up. But they are past masters in bringing people onto them and then making the break. Although in these conditions and at this stage of the game, the break may not be easy to make. In the meantime, it's Paul Warhurst. Played in short towards Richie. He's got a touch now. Henry. My goodness, if he could have controlled that, that would have been 1-1. And there was a very cool back pass by Pearce, actually, beyond Henry to Steve Sutton.
Well, this is what Oldham are looking for, really. They've been striving for it. They get the opportunity and they squander it.
Clough. Well, there's nobody available. He's surrounded by blue. Oof, that's got to be a free kick. It was not the most sensible thing for the Oldham skipper to be doing. It's given a free kick, it's given Forrest a breather, it's given Pearce the chance to come forward, and this is almost the identical position from which he scored against Coventry in that semi-final.
And he's going to take his time.
And Earl Barrett is not in the wall this time, Jim.
And he's worked that out, hasn't he?
So 4 in the wall. Parker's poised there as well.
I think it's pretty certain that Stewart's going to have a woof at this, though.
There goes Stuart Pearce. Terrific bit of goalkeeping again. Saw it late. He's played really well, Andy Rhodes.
Yeah, it's a great save by Andy Rhodes. I think the thing you can say is that he predicted the situation.
I was speaking to Alan Hill, a former goalkeeper himself on the Forest backroom staff before the game. I said, what do you know about Andy Rhodes? He said, very agile. And that really has been proved today. Holden plays it forward. Ritchie. Laws getting in, wants to preserve the situation and not give away the corner. And Forest now a matter of 8 minutes away from retaining the Littlewoods Cup. Ritchie. Clough getting it away. Barrett going in there. In goes Pearce as well. Forest will look for some comfort now from, they wouldn't need it because the whistle's gone. I was going to say from Carr to use his pace to get forward. Somebody's gone down on the far side. Stuart Pearce. In St John, what, about 7 minutes left? Do you see the game staying the way it is?
Well, it's very difficult to say that, Brian, but you have to say that Oldham have thrown everything at Forest in the last sort of 15 minutes and had 1 or 2 very good chances. I thought Henry's inability to control the ball there was probably the best chance, because had he done that, I think that would be a certain goal. But all the time, you know, you feel that Forest on the break will just maybe even, you know, sneak another one. But I do hope that Oldham get one.
Well, Oldham certainly have had some spectacular comebacks in their cup run. And reverse to popping in a late goal.
Well, the game is over 90 minutes. It's always been argued that, hasn't
Yes, I think Bob Paisley always used to say there's nothing against scoring in the 90th minute. There's no rule against it.
That's right.
It's Pearce with a long clearance, looking towards Jemson. A little touch by him to Clough. Not much support for him, and Jemson is down injured. It's with Carr. It's with Hodge. I think Forest will be, as much as they can, content to keep possession and play sensibly to contain Oldham as much as they can. But you never know with this second division side. Here comes Warhurst. What a prospect he is. But he's down now. It's a touch of the cramp, I imagine, and tired legs. Carr, even the spring has gone out of his stride a bit, but not out of Ian Adams, who was in behind him, but still with Carr. He's got into the box. It's across there towards Crosby, but Andy Farlow got that away. Playing it wide again to Franz Carr. This time Barrett gets it away. Only as far as Laws. And now Oldham with 5 minutes of the game left. Forest still leading by 1-0. Henry. Pearce, good, powerful, dominant header there. And it's with Carr. Clough to Parker. Pearce to Jemson. Shadowed by Barrett. Ball out of play. Forest won't be unhappy at keeping it down at that end of the field with 5 minutes left.
I think it's their aim now, Brian. It looks to me as though they're getting one player to run for the ball and the rest are holding their position in the middle of the park to stop Oldham going on the break.
Jemson.
I think if they could get Franz Carr to hold it for 5 minutes, they would. And Franz would.
Well, Stuart Pearce not taking too, not wanting to take it too quickly. Clough. Carr. There's Hodge. Just want to keep possession now. Franz Carr against Paul Warhurst. And away comes Milligan. Now let's see what Oldham can do on the break. Andy Ritchie. It's with Nigel Clough again. Played on to Franz Carr. Played just onside by Paul Warhurst. And it goes across for the Forest throw.
I really find it difficult to understand Forest because it looks as though they are capable of scoring another goal. They're just not bothering to move forward. That's a goal.
Jemson. The man of the match has been named, and I will name him for you in just a moment. It's a throw to Oldham Athletic. And I wouldn't disagree with the choice, I must say. It's with Bob. I wonder who you think at home it should be. 2 minutes left. Parker. Barrett. Barrett again. Hit high towards Des Walker. Up he goes once more. Milligan. Barlow. Flick on, and again Forest line up their defenders well, get it away comfortably. Clough with some space to exploit. Parker's made a break through the middle for him, but he's played it wide for Franz Carr. Here's Steve Hodge. Jemson offside. And there's the man of the match, Nottingham Forest, Des Walker. The first holder of the Alan Hardacre Trophy. And it's with Barlow, and the man of the match might yet have some defending to be done. It's Clough finding Parker. Crosby away on the far side, a foul there by Barlow. That'll be a free kick. And we're playing the last minute of the game now. So it looks as though poor old Joe Royle and Oldham will go away empty-handed. But the one consolation, and the big one it is they've given a lot of people such a lot of pleasure up and down the country this season. It's Laws now for Forest. Played there towards Franz Carr. Gary Parker. And away with Warhurst. Palmer's made a run. Here's Ritchie. It's not over yet. Not when Ritchie's on the ball and Palmer's up there ahead of him and Holden's away left on the left side. There's the cross. Stuart Pearce gets it away though. To Carr. We're into time added on at the end of 90 minutes now. It's with Gary Parker. A chance to push Carr forward and the flag has stayed down. Parker's trying to get up in support. He's still with Franz Carr. The shot straight at Andy Rhodes, who couldn't have been far from the man of the match himself. Referees looked at the watch again. We played almost a minute of time added on. Barlow playing it forward. Chettle couldn't get to it, but Sutton does. And that may be the last alarm for Nottingham Forest. Of the Littlewoods Cup for 1990. The goal by Nigel Jensen, 47 minutes. Enough to stifle the dreams and the hopes of a splendid second division club. Brian Clough does it again. His 25th year as a manager, rewarded by another Wembley victory. There with his backroom team of Alan King and Ronnie Fenton and Joe Royle and Mr. Clough. Not happy that the camera is around him. If you remember last year, he went off and didn't even see the cup presented. The players did it, not me, he said. And that seems to be his attitude now. He doesn't want a camera around him. Joe Royle can only be proud of the team that have performed so well all season, but alas for him and for Lancashire, just couldn't deliver the goods on this important day.
Yeah, they did all they can. All they could, Oldham. And in actual fact, my man of the match would have been Earl Barrett, who I thought had a superb game. But there you go. The gentlemen of the press, etc., tend to go for the obvious at times.
Well, Oldham, I'm sure, will have a lot of supporters up and down the country, hoping that they can still make a place in those playoffs and maybe get promotion. Some of their supporters in tears there.
Well, really, to come here and to perform the way that they've done for their supporters have got to be proud of them. They're obviously suffering great disappointment.
Well,
but at the same time, they've got to be really proud of this Oldham team.
Forest win it for the fourth time. There's Andy Rhodes. Forest win it for the fourth time, equaling the record of Liverpool in this competition. Unusual for holders to hang on to their trophy in this competition. Liverpool couldn't do it, Arsenal couldn't do it, Luton couldn't do it last season, but Forest have done it this season. And there's the man who goes up to collect the Littlewoods Cup. But it's the tradition here that the losers go up first. And I'm sure that the Forest fans will give them a tremendous ovation for the part they've played not only today, but in that marvellous run past Leeds, Scarborough, Arsenal, Southampton and West Ham just to get here. Mike Milligan leading his team up. tinged with great disappointment to receive their medals from Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Kent. And all around the ground there's applause for Oldham Athletic. A few royal words of consolation. Played, as Ian St John was saying, they played some really splendid football, but just could not find the finishing touch. The goalkeeper, who was magnificent, Andy Rhodes. Rick Holden slipping down the left touchline, Paul Warhurst, who did so well. Andy Ritchie just couldn't recapture that goal-scoring form of earlier this season. Dennis Owen, Earl Barrett, the man who's like to have a headache after being hit by that free kick from Stuart Pearce. So Oldham have done their fans proud, even though they couldn't lift the trophy. And here comes the team who did. They came here having won only one of their last 10. And conceding goals left, right and centre. Well, they put the block on that. And they scored the one that mattered. And this time Brian Clough is staying to watch the presentation. The Royal Highness hands the trophy to Stuart Pearce, and Nottingham Forest have done it again. Applause from the manager for the team that have achieved another victory. A proud day for him. Certainly for these players and the thousands who come down from the East Midlands to support them.
And suddenly you don't feel so tired. Well, the winners certainly don't. That little bit of adrenaline comes back and you know that you've got the energy to run around with that trophy.
You do have to have genuine sympathy for Oldham because they had played so well. They were just beaten by that one break so early in the second half.
Well, the game could have gone either way. That was it. It was just one goal in it. Both teams had chances.
And here comes the man of the match, getting the trophy from Mrs. Reenie Hardacre. The first holder, Des Walker of the Alan Hardacre Trophy. A choice, I think, that Alan himself would have approved of. He liked dogged fighters, and Des Walker was one of those. The two managers going off together, with different feelings as they march towards the tunnel. A smile on Cloughie's face, and on Joe Royals as well in defeat. Well, that's the way it should be.
That's really great to see both managers like that.
I've not seen that before, ever.
No. And Joe's had such a great season, really. There's Cloughie, of course. There's nothing you can say about Cloughie, is there, that hasn't already been said?
Well, the Forest fans love him, just as the huge number of photographers at the other end are now watching Oldham come towards them. The beaten finalists want to go and salute their fans.
First of all, your verdict, Brian?
I was delighted and relieved that we've won, Gary. Thank you, that's my verdict.
Oldham played very well, actually, didn't they?
I couldn't believe how well they played, but I did warn everybody beforehand.
Joe?
Yeah, we've done ourselves proud. I'm very proud of them. A little bit tired in one or two positions, one or two haven't done as well as they might have done, but over the whole performance, over the whole cup, they've been magnificent. Very proud of them.
I hope it's not going to be a season where you dip out on everything.
Well, let's get today out the way. I mean, we'll have to recharge our batteries and go again Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday.
Must have been a bit of recharging out there, Brian. It must have been very hot.
Well, it certainly didn't come from me, because I look worse than you.
Brian,
No, just a minute, I'll rescind that. I don't look worse than you.
2 Littlewoods Cups wins on the trot. Well done. I wonder who's going to be the lucky person with the kiss tonight.
Well, I'm going home to see Jackie Coogan.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Cheers.